second graders, I'm Miss Alyssa, and today I'm going to be discussing a book that I just read called The Grand Canyon by Jason Chin, which was written in 2017. Now, I originally wanted to read this book because I personally love to travel, but I've never actually visited Arizona, which is where the Grand Canyon is. So, if you're anything like me and you enjoy traveling, I can guarantee that you'll really enjoy this book. I also wanted to read it because I noticed that it has been awarded two very important titles. It is the Caldecott Honor Book and the Robert F. Seibert Honor Book. And what these awards mean is there are many other readers that enjoyed this book just as much as I did, and that the facts inside the book are very reliable. I don't want to spoil too much about the book, but I did want to show you this page because it shows how the book takes you on a journey from the past to the present. You can read along as I play a read aloud of this page.
The basement rocks are the oldest in the canyon, as much as 1.84 billion years old. Many younger rock layers are stacked on top of them. If you hike out of the canyon, you'll pass younger and younger layers as you climb, as if walking up through time. Above the basement layer, you'll reach the Grand Canyon supergroup. Here you may find ripple marks preserved in the stone. Clues like these tell us what this place was like when the rock formed. They are like windows.
I personally find it fascinating that the rocks can give scientists details from billions of years ago. Also, I enjoy how on each page there are diagrams at the bottom to further explain and show scientific facts about the Grand Canyon. On this page, the diagram at the bottom shows the different layers of sediment that you cannot see by simply looking at the rocks. If you have a love for animals or wildlife, you will really enjoy pages such as this one, in which you can see the different types of life in the Grand Canyon. If you flip to the next page, you can see the marine life that is a part of the canyon as well. Before reading this book, I had never realized how big the Grand Canyon is. It stretches 277 miles long, as big as 18 miles wide, and more than a mile deep. And across the canyon lives animals and plants that I've never seen before. What I enjoyed most about this book is you actually feel like you're visiting the Grand Canyon. The author does this by using a few strategies. First of all, the color scheme is all very natural and earthy tones. As you can see on the cover, you see the blue sky and you see the brown rocks and the green from the trees. And this is very relative to throughout the book. For example, this page, you see a lot of greenery and it makes you kind of feel like you're in the forest with the characters. And I also wanted to focus on the characters for a second because each page you see this little girl with her father exploring the Grand Canyon. And these characters are never given a name and the book really never addresses them. But I think it's an important aspect of the book because it makes you feel like you're on this journey with them. And whenever the little girl approaches an aspect of the Grand Canyon, the book kind of provides some background knowledge and some facts about it. For example, I really enjoyed a page about fossils. She comes across these fossil marks, and the book provides some facts about how there used to be dinosaurs in the Grand Canyon, and these remains are still there today. Here's a picture of the page I was just referring to. So at the bottom, you can see that there's a few facts about fossils. So first, the trilobite dies, then the sediment accumulates, and the shell becomes fossil as sediment becomes rock, and then when erosion occurs, it eventually exposes the fossil. And this is what the little girl is discovering, and we are almost discovering it with her as we can see the emotion on her face. Okay, now I'd like to show you some interesting features that this book has, including holes in the pages. So, as you see on this page, it looks like there's a little tiny animal hidden in the rocks. However, when you turn the page, you see that it's actually a hole in the page, and what you're really seeing is a worm-like creature underwater. There's also another feature throughout the book, such as this page, in which it looks like a normal book, but it actually opens up so you can see a full view of what the characters are seeing. And I think little features like this are really important in a book because it keeps every page unique and makes you wondering what you're going to experience next. Now, although I enjoyed the book, if I could change one thing about it, it would probably be the fact that there's no real life images of the Grand Canyon. I did enjoy the illustrations throughout the book, and I believe that they are an accurate representation of what the Grand Canyon looks like. But I think the author had a great opportunity at the end of the book to actually give those real life pictures, especially since at the end, as you can see, the author gives more details and facts about the Grand Canyon, including the actual names of the forests within the canyon, the human history that's left behind, including some of the geologists that worked on the canyon. There's even a portion about the mystery of the Grand Canyon, which is nobody actually knows how long the canyon has been there. And there's a note from the author at the end. So I believe in this portion of the book, it would have been really nice to see real pictures of the Grand Canyon, but I still did enjoy the illustrations throughout. I would also like to encourage teachers to incorporate books like this into their classroom. I think it's really important for students to be exposed to such educational pieces of work. And there's also a lot of names of animals and plants that if your students find an interest in this, they can actually take these names and do further research. For example, they gave a name of a squirrel in the book, and I was actually personally interested in the difference between this squirrel that is found in the Grand Canyon versus the squirrels that we just find in our backyards. So if your students show an interest like that, they can take those names, put it into the internet, and find even more information on it. The author also, at the end of the book, gives a list of sources that he found all of his information from, and gives you some further reading opportunities by listing some books that have relevance to this book, and give you more information on the Grand Canyon. Just a few titles I would like to include are Going to Grand Canyon National Park by Mike Bukic. Then Wendell Miner wrote Grand Canyon, Exploring Natural Wonder, and Jim O'Connor wrote Where is the Grand Canyon? So if your students find an interest in any of the animals named or the Grand Canyon itself, there's so much more that they can explore, such as these books or even specific facts about an animal. If you're wondering if this is the right book for you, it may help to think about what your interests are. If you're interested in science, geology, or traveling, then this is the perfect book for you. As I mentioned, I fall into the category of traveler, and after reading the story, I am ready to book my flight to Arizona. There are many intricate details about erosion, range of climates, the Colorado River, and rock formations. There is so much you can learn from a book like the Grand Canyon. Without a doubt, Jason Chin created a wonderful educational book which consists of beautiful illustrations and surprises. Even though I showed you a sneak peek of a few surprising elements and pages, there is much more excitement that I left out. So hurry to the bookstore or your local library to check it out for yourself. Have fun exploring!